Culture and building company culture is definitely one of the buzzwords of the moment. And it's not just us in HR that are talking about it. We're hearing marketers talking about it too. And that doesn't surprise me, because we've known for a long time that if you look after your people, they will look after your customers. So what is company culture? Well, I can tell you what it's not, and that's beanbags, slides, pool tables, free fruit, free pizza. All of these things may have their benefits, but they don't make a company culture. Company culture is much more intrinsic to everything the company does. And the good news is that there's a great return on investment when you get this right. When you've got a great company culture, you've got something your people will talk about. That makes hiring easier, which makes hiring cheaper. It means that you're more likely to retain people because they love working for you. It means that people know what's expected of them, which means they're achieving, they're productive, and you're getting more out of your people. Your customers will feel it, and this is why marketing are talking about it, because your customers feeling it means that they give you great reviews, they talk about you to their friends. That reduces your costs of marketing. And finally, you'll reduce sickness absence. Sickness absence impacts productivity, it lets customers down, and it stops the whole team achieving what they should be achieving. When you reduce sickness absence, you reduce costs. So how do you build company culture? Step 1, know who you are as a company. What's your mission? What's your values? What is it that's important to you? What is it that drives the decisions that you make? Just as an example, sustainability. This could be a value. For many companies, it is a value, which means that every decision they make is based around the ideas of how do we become more sustainable. When you've got a value, when you've got a set of values that people really know drives the decision making, that makes it easier for people to fit your culture, to work to what you're doing as a brand, and to drive the company forward. And then that enables us to move on to step 2, setting expectations. When you know what you are as a company, you know what your mission is, you know what your goals are, you know what you're trying to achieve, what your values are, then you can set expectations of your people. You can really drive them to deliver in line with what you're trying to achieve as a company. And they know that the little bit they're doing contributes to the wider goal. They know how it contributes. And we can measure, monitor people's performance. We can see what doing a good job is and tell people when they're doing a good job. And importantly, they can see when they're doing a good job. Most people strive to do a good job at work. They strive to achieve. So when we show them what achieving looks like, we enable them to do that. Step 3, invest in your managers. So often people are promoted to management positions because they're good at the job they do. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but management is a whole new skill set. If we don't provide people with the training, the education to be able to be good managers and good leaders, to be able to take the company goals and set those as individual expectations, to drive the team in the right direction for the whole company, then our managers become our weak point. They become the point at which people can't achieve. And people will leave a bad manager. You could have a great organisation with a great mission, great values, but if people don't have a good relationship with their individual manager, that is going to prompt them to leave. Step 4, support healthy employees. And this isn't bringing free fruit into the office. This is about them being mentally and physically healthy. We know that excessive long hours is not good for people. We know that when people are achieving in their life outside of work, they're more likely to achieve in their life inside of work. When they're anxious, overwhelmed by what they've got to do or what they're not being able to do, that impacts their productivity. So making sure that people have got that balance that they're able to achieve will make them far more productive. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be occasional times where everyone's pushing for a particular deadline, but that shouldn't be the norm. That shouldn't be the everyday. We should support people with work-life balance. People can have commitment and value more than one thing. They can value a hobby or their family and their achievements at work. It's not a bad thing, and far from it. It can make people better employees when they've got that balance in their lives. If you want to make sure that you're not the business owner that's making these mistakes, that you're getting things right and you're hearing about the updates as and when they happen, subscribe to our channel, hit the notifications bell, and make sure that you don't miss a video. Step 5, hire for culture. Hiring for culture went out of fashion when it was seen to be discriminatory, and it is discriminatory. If you're saying, well, this is a masculine workforce, it's very male, a woman wouldn't fit into that. That's discriminatory hiring for culture. It's going to cause you problems. It's going to end you up in an employment tribunal. And that reduction in diversity means that you're not getting the creative input that you would get when you've got a diverse workforce. You absolutely should have a diverse workforce. What we mean by hiring for culture is about hiring people who have the same values as you. Hiring people who agree with the mission, who actually want to achieve that mission, value that mission, see it as a great thing that they want to be a part of. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all of those people will have the same view as to how you achieve that mission, or the same view about what that value means or how you achieve that value. That's where you get your diversity. You should have people that can think differently, but ultimately they should all be striving to achieve that same thing. They should value your mission. They should want to work towards that. And that's what we mean by hiring for culture. And our final step then is sharing information. It's easy as leaders to have information in our heads about what we view things to be, what good should look like, what we expect of people, what our brand should look like when it's put out there. But if we don't have that written down, if everybody can't see that, then they have no way of achieving it. They're not mind readers, and it increases our training costs, it reduces our productivity. So having a way to have everything in writing so that you can see exactly what it is that you do as a company, anybody can come in and replicate it. It really does help with your induction process because people know where to go and get that information. And that information is applied equally across everybody because you've got it in writing. So that's my 6 steps. It's not easy. It's not a weekend of office refurbs. It is about really knowing who you are as a company and then letting that trickle down to how you support your people, how the expectations that you set for them, what good looks like, how your managers are invested in and how they manage people, how people are encouraged to be healthy in their work-life balance, and the information that you share with people to enable them to achieve.